Hello everyone and welcome to the pairs of angles class. For this class we will see the properties of different pairs of angles and how they can help us find measurements of other angles. First, we will start by complementary and supplementary. Complementary angles are two angles that together they form a right angle. Okay? If we have a 30-degree and a 60-degree angle, together they will add up to 90 degrees. These are complementary. The next pair of angles, they add up to form a straight angle, meaning if we have an angle of 60 degree and a 120 degree, they would add up to 180 degrees. These pairs of angles are called supplementary. So, if we have an angle of 40 degrees, what would be the other angle needed to make it complementary? We would need a 50-degree angle. Why? Because 40 plus 50 gives us 90. If we have a 100-degree angle, what do we need to make a supplementary? We are missing 80 degrees to complete the 180. Okay? It's very simple to find complementary and supplementary angles. So please answer the skill check number 1 that is on your presentation. Next we will go to adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are angles that are right next to each other. These examples that we have in here can be considered adjacent angles. Why? Because they share one side in common. Adjacent angles share one of their rays or one of the sides with each other. Okay? Here we have this ray in the middle. That is a side of the 60-degree angle and also of the 30-degree angle. Here, this right in the middle is part of the 60-degree angle and it is also part of the 120 angle. So both of them are adjacent angles. Adjacent angles don't have to measure up to anything. So we can have a 10-degree angle together with a 20-degree angle, and they are adjacent because they share one side. Okay, it doesn't matter what the measure adds up to, as long as they are sharing one side, they are adjacent angles. Okay? Now, we have two lines that are intersecting. Intersecting lines are lines that share one common point. They cross with each other at one point. They are intersecting. Now, when we have two intersecting lines, we can find 4 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can name them or number them, and we will have 4 angles. These 4 angles, we can classify them or separate them into 4 different pairs of adjacent angles. Angle number 1 is adjacent with angle number 2. The symbol for angle is this one. Angle number 1 and angle number 2 are adjacent. Also, angle number 1 is also adjacent with angle number 2 because they share one common ray. And in this way we can classify all of them. Angle 2 is adjacent to 1 and 3. Angle 3 is adjacent to 2 and 4. Angle 4 is adjacent to 3 and 1. We also can find vertical angles. Vertical angles are in these same kind of lines, intersecting lines. Vertical angles are the opposite angle, the only one that is not adjacent to it. For example, the vertical angle with 3 would be 1. Why? Because they are not sharing any rays in common. The vertical angles are angle 1 and 3 and angle 2 and angle 4. Okay? Angle 1 is vertical to 3, angle 4 is vertical to 2. Now, knowing all of this, let's say that I know the measurement of angle 1. If angle 1 were to measure 110 degrees, there are some properties that we can apply. For example, vertical angles always measure the same. So, if angle 1 measures 110 degrees and angle 3 is vertical to it, that means that angle 3 also measures 110 degrees. Now looking at this, we see that they are formed by lines. What is the angle in one line? It's a 180 degree angle or a straight angle. So we have this line that altogether has a 180 degree angle. But we already know that this part is 110. Now, the adjacent angle to number 3 would be a supplementary angle because together they would form 180. What are we missing, or what do we need to get 180 if we already have 110? We are missing 70 degrees. So this way we know that angle 4 is 70 degrees. Now, as we were saying before, vertical angles have the same measurement. So, if 2 is a vertical angle to 4, the measurement of 2 is also 70 degrees. This can be applied to our final exercises. Our final exercises are composed by 2 parallel lines. Remember that parallel lines are lines that will never intersect. Because they go in the same direction. And a transversal line. A transversal line is a line that intersects 2 or more lines. So we will have a transversal because it intersects with 2 lines. Here we have 8 angles that have been formed. We can number them Now, when we have a pair of parallel lines, we can add 3 more properties in order to be able to find the measurement of any of these angles, even if we only have the measurement of one of them. These properties are alternate interior, alternate exterior, and corresponding angles. Alternate means that they are on different sides of the transversal line. Interior, that they are in between the parallel lines, and exterior, that they are outside of the parallel lines. Knowing this, we would know that number 3 and number 5 are alternate interior, while number 7 and number 1 are alternate exterior. Corresponding angles are one outside, one inside, but on the same side of the transversal. Okay? Number 1 and number 5 are corresponding angles. They are in the same spot, but on the other parallel line. Number 2 is corresponding with number 6, 4 corresponds with 8, and 3 is corresponding with number 7. Now, alternate interior, alternate exterior, and corresponding angles all have the same measure with each other. If number 2 is alternate exterior with number 8, they will measure the same. If number 4 is alternate interior with number 6, they will have the same measurement. And the corresponding also have the same measurement to each other. Number 1 measures the same as number 5, 2 measures the same as 6, 4 measures the same as 8, and 3 measures the same as 7. Now let's say that I know that number 2 measures 60 degrees. We can get all of the angles that measure 60 degrees by knowing their corresponding and their alternate exterior angles. Also, we know that the vertical angle to number 2, it's also going to be 60. So number 4 is also 60. The corresponding angle to number 2 is also 60. And the alternate exterior is also 60 degrees. We already have the measurement of 4 of our angles just by knowing one of them. Now, this is a straight line. The total measurement of the angle in the straight line is going to be 180. That way we know that angle number 1 is a supplementary angle to number 2. So what would be the measurement of angle number 1? It will be what we have left to get to 180, which is 120 degrees. Now the vertical angle to number 1 would also be measuring 120. The alternate exterior also 120. And the corresponding angle 120 degrees. And that is the way we can know the measurement of the 8 angles of 2 parallels and 1 transversal line just by knowing the measurement of 1. Now that we know this, you can answer skill check number 3 in your presentation. That's it for today. I hope this was clear enough. If you have any questions, please log in to the Facebook Live Q&A. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.